Chris, and you're seeing me dressed up as Joe, dressed up as a Roman soldier. And my lovely co-host, Janet from Another Planet, is with us tonight. Janet.
Hello. Thank you for joining us for such a good movie.
This was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get my microphone right. There we go. That should sound better.
Yeah, that's way better.
Okay.
So you sounded very far away.
So this film, this was kind of popped onto us by a friend of ours, the dirty campaigner. You all know him. This movie really knocked me for a loop, just legally wise, because very rarely do you see a courtroom drama film that really hits it on all the pistons. It fires off all at once. And 1995, Oliver Stone helped produce a movie called Indictment, the McMartin trial.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard nothing about it. Abby Mann, Myra Mann wrote it up. Mick Jackson did the direction. Dinah Portnoy, Oliver Stone, Janet Yang, and Abby Mann all did the producing work. This movie really had some push behind it, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Janet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you heard of this film being selected for review, what did you think?
Well, I didn't really know what to think about it because I couldn't really remember what it was about or anything until you showed me the trailer, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, I remember about it. I remembered a little bit about it because I didn't watch it on TV. I didn't watch it when it came out. I just remember them talking about it on the news and everything and what a hype it was. And I remember when I first heard about it, I kind of reacted a little bit like his wife did in the character's wife, Nicolette Sheridan or whatever her name is, the actress.
Yep.
Of how horrible and terrible this was, that these children were assaulted, in a daycare, and, I felt sorry for the parents and stuff. It wasn't until I started hearing all the rumors about the sacrifice animals at the church and then different things like that. And I was like, this sounds too crazy. And that's when I started looking into it, and I started reading about all the things the kids were saying, and there was no proof of it, that they were taking them places that there was no proof. Nobody saw them. They didn't have any vehicles. And then I heard one person say, I can't remember if it was a cousin or whatever, that they saw on the news that some of the kids were saying that he assaulted them when he wasn't even at the school. So that's when I said that somebody's putting up to that woman, that whatever her name is again, the one that the counselor lady was putting ideas in these kids' head, because when hundreds of kids are showing up, all supposedly being abused at all these different, it wasn't just this place. Remember, kids were starting to say they were abused at other daycares, and they were shutting them down left and right. So people didn't have someone to watch their kids.
Were you talking about Lael Rubin, the prosecutor? The Los Angeles District Attorney, excuse me?
No. The lady that used the puppets with the naked bodies with the hair and everything on them, that I thought was inappropriate when I found out about that. I didn't realize that until I saw it in the movie, that that's what she was doing. But they did really good about trying to stay, true to the actual events that was going on. To me, that was everything was put into those kids' minds. And what's sad is all those children that were affected by that woman showing him and telling him things that they never would have ever known about until they were older, more appropriate aged, if that lady hadn't been involved in this. And that's one of the reasons why I was really affected by this. I got very upset about it because recently I had a family member that was actually assaulted. And when you put things like this in children's heads, they say things because they don't understand the importance of what's behind what they're saying. And then it hurts real victims and it hurts real people. Just like what we talked about that a couple weeks ago about the whole thing about what's coming out with the Epstein stuff, right? And the Gazelle or whatever her name is, Ghislaine Maxwell trial and the transcripts that came out, and everyone was talking about it. And I said, well, you can't go off half-cocked and attack people and say all these things about people just because their name happened to be on a flight log, because that doesn't mean they did anything, you see. And innocent people are going to be hurt, like I've seen it many, many times where people lie, like that one lady that was a stripper and went to that sorority place with the 5 guys. They were lacrosse players or something. Lacrosse, and it was proven later that it was all lies, and they all got kicked out of college and ruined their lives, all because of her lies about people. It was horrible for people to do that. And if you go out half-cocked and you beat up some guy because somebody said they were a child molester, and then you find out later that they had nothing to do with any of it, but that person's life has changed forever, and so is all the kids that are involved, being told to say things or made to feel like they have to say things that are lies, and give them images in their brains of horrible things that they shouldn't even know about at their young age. And to me, all that, it's awful. I just think it's terrible. And that's what all of this, watching this and seeing it unfold, the tragedy that all these people went through, and they spent $15 million on this trial that took 7 years, and not one conviction for anything, because there was nothing. And they lost everything, all the family members, the grandmother, the mom, the son, the daughter, and then that one other lady, the teacher or whatever. They all lost everything. They lost their homes, they lost their jobs, they lost everything, all because they were being accused of something they didn't do. And that, to me, is a tragedy in itself. Kind of like what we have right now that's going on with all the crazy courts that we have that believe that you're guilty until proven innocent, instead of the other way around, like our country used to be founded on, So I think it's ridiculous. But yeah, this was a really, really good. James Woods did a kick-ass job at portraying a lawyer that really didn't give a shit at the beginning about taking this job, because it was just like defending any other scumbags, like you said, and then end up really realizing these people were innocent. And the fact that one of the prosecuting attorneys over time started realizing that this was messed up, and he ended up putting in his resignation and quitting his job because he didn't want to be in this farce anymore, prosecuting someone he knew was totally innocent. You know what I mean? So I thought it was really, really, really good. I love James Woods too, though. As an actor, I thought he was really.
He's just a fun actor to watch.
Mm-hmm.
He's magnetic. That's the thing about him that I've always noticed. He was great in Cat's Eye, and I know there's going to be people like, Cat's Eye, oh my God, you're watching that movie, blah. Well, listen, that was my first James Woods movie I ever got introduced to the man in. And ever since then, I've been a fan. Anything he's in, I've never seen him turn out a bad performance. He always earns that money for the mortgage or whatever he does. I really was impressed with him with this. I kind of like around Act 2, when he changes his tune towards McMartin's, and he's like, you know what? We're gonna really just go all out and win this shit. We're actually gonna try to run through the tape. He starts, giving some real positivity and really starts to get behind it. Even though the ladies are feeling like everything is over, everything is done, we're losing our houses, we've lost the school, we've lost the daycare, we've lost our business. There's nothing more for us to do. We're gonna work at Walmart the rest of our miserable fucking lives. And I thought this movie just really knocked it out of the park because of James Woods. And then, of course, without Mercedes Ruehl, Mercedes is a fucking great actress anyway. I mean, I'm not going to go into the fact that she's got an Oscar, she's got these awards. No, she's the lady who played the cop in The Warriors.
Yeah, I love that movie too. Yeah, she was a really good actress.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I thought the whole cast was very believable in all their all their parts, especially the woman that played the mother of the son and daughter that were all
Are you talking about Virginia McMartin, or are you talking about
is
Peggy Bucky?
I think it was Peggy.
Okay,
Wasn't she the mom?
she was.
Actress? Okay. Well, the part where she had to strip down naked
I felt
and they
sorry
were
for her.
strip searching her, and after she came back from trial, the humiliation and stuff that she had, it was devastating. I started crying for that one scene for her because it was so heart-wrenching to know that this woman was going through all this when she didn't do anything. All she ever did was want to help kids. That's it. That's all she wanted to do
She
her
was the
whole life.
mother in. She was Helen. I can't
It
remember
was
her name.
terrible.
She was Helen's mom in As Good as It Gets with
Mhm.
Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson getting Helen, whatever her name, the young blonde lady from some crappy 90s TV show. Anyway, that was kind of farcical and science fiction-esque. You're going to be a 60-year-old man hitting on a 40-year-old woman that should be trying to cougar up some 20-year-old stud. It just, that made no sense, but okay, whatever. Well, anyway, Sada Thompson played, or excuse me, Shirley Knight played the mom, and watching her have to
Mhm.
get, crevice searched, cough. Sometimes they stick things up their craw, and that, cough just lodges it. That's
Yeah.
just disgusting. That's
Well, it wasn't just that.
humiliating.
It was the way the two police officers just acted like she was nothing but a piece of meat, basically.
Corrections. I
Yeah, they gave
I
her
know I've got
no.
friends that work in corrections,
And
but
and I really feel bad. I really do feel bad for the police officers that have to deal with day in and day out being spit on, being cussed at, being called all those horrible names and whatever else goes on to them. But if there was a way that we could hire at nursing homes and at prisons and places like that more guards than they have, so that they're not working so many hours over and over again and rotating them out or something, to where they don't just become so bitter and hate their jobs. Because that's what came across to me, was how much these women hated what they did. So all they wanted to do was just say, fuck you, just get in bed and hope you choke to death in your sleep. Basically, that's what I got from the way the guards treated the women. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And now I didn't really get to see that many guards in the boys, the way he was treated, except for at the very beginning when he first got put in. The guard came and rough handled him when they dragged him out to take him to solitary, because of the way the other prisoners were gonna, probably shank him. And if he even left his cell, he would probably be murdered. And that was sad too. It's because I know that we have one of the best criminal justice systems in the world. And even though there's so many bad things that happen, we do have one of the best, okay, for amount of innocent people that are locked up compared to other countries. But we still do have innocent people that are put in jail and in prison. And their safety, it doesn't matter whether Ted Bundy, and I hate Ted Bundy, I'm glad he finally ended up getting the death penalty, but the fact that even one person that's in prison that's killed while they're waiting for their appeal or whatever else, or beat up or crippled or whatever, is wrong. Okay, because we all deserve justice. We all deserve fair trials. That's, like I said, in 2 days, I'm going to go and I'm going to probably serve my first time ever jury duty. And I want to do a good job, because I want to make sure that it's fair, that whoever I'm on a jury for knows that I'm going to do the best I can to sort through the evidence. And if I don't think that this person's guilty and the evidence is not strong enough, I can go to bed at night knowing that I tried to do the right thing for that person. Whether anyone else likes me or not, I don't care. I want someone to do the same thing for me if I'm ever accused of anything. And that's why I just thought that the details that they went through with the jury, with the judge, the media, I mean, everything, I thought they did a really good job on this movie to make you feel like you were involved, you were immersed into all of it and how it works, to be able to see what these people went through. Did you feel that way?
I've only served
I'll
on
try
jury
not to
duty
talk
once.
so much.
I was on jury duty once, many years ago,
Mhm.
and I didn't like it because they gave us a case that it was so clear cut. Like we basically made up our minds the first day, and then we went and got to talk about it, and we got dragged all the way till Tuesday or till Thursday, and that was when the DA swapped out. The public defender swapped out with the current lawyer that the defendant had, because he was he was really just a piece of shit. He stabbed another kid and tried killing him by twisting a knife in his thigh. So this is like right around 2003. So we got a chance to like see all the video, see everything that happened that was there, because the cops caught part of the fight, and it was just like there's no way you can argue your way out of this, and the kid's trying to argue his way out of it for 3 days. Thursday comes and he fires his lawyer, gets a public defender, and then he just gives up. And it's like, you motherfucker, I hope you get your ass fucking cored out. That's just how I felt. I mean, I was like, I could have done I could have looked at somebody else's evidence as a good stalwart member of the jury, but instead you sucked us 12 up for this, and you wasted all of our time. The judge was pissed, the DA was pissed, everybody was pissed, but it is what it is. And that's just kind of the only time I've ever been on jury duty. So I don't have a great wealth of jury duty that I could say, well, there was this one time I felt like a noble individual, because I was sitting there and I looked at this young boy who he tried to convince the rest of us that it was God's will for him to rob a convenience store at gunpoint. And it was God's will for him to fill a window with bullets and collapse the glass. And it was God's will for him. And he's just a good boy. He did do nothing. And I just don't think that I have enough experience as a jury pool member for me to comment on if somebody's guilty or innocent. I shouldn't look at a video and make a snap judgment, which I'm really good at doing. If you are into Myers Briggs gives you a 4-letter designation. Mine's ISTJ, internally thinking, not extroverted, sensitive, which means I just kind of try to detect more bullshit than most other people. That's the focus point of it. And then T is tactical, and then the last one is J for judgmental. Well, the J part of my ISTJ profile for Myers Briggs, the J part, according to these tests I've taken, is between 90 and 92% of my entire asinine personality. I'm a judgmental as fuck person, and I'm not the guy you want in your jury. I'll just say that. If you had a dirty thought at one point, you're going to jail. You're off. But for people
The
that
thing
like,
is,
go
that
ahead.
was the thing that I didn't understand until I watched the movie about the details that went into what actually happened to the to cause them to investigate this this preschool, right?
Yeah,
And
because
it was
it
a
felt like the
woman.
entire machine was against the preschool. Did you get the feeling of that?
Yeah, they tried to burn it down twice. Okay, but the thing is, the whole thing leading up to it was a woman. Okay, I can't remember what her name is, but the actual woman who had a 6-year-old boy, and she said she noticed that he had redness on his bum, right?
Mhm.
And so she didn't take him to the doctor. Okay, this is what was weird to me as a parent myself. She didn't take him to the doctor, but she talked to her neighbors about it. Okay, and then she started talking to other parents at the school about, are you noticing things wrong with your kids? And to come to find out later on, it's one of the gentlemen that resigned from the DA's office was one of the ones that found out that the Woman was an alcoholic. She also was a paranoid schizophrenic, and her son was being molested by his dad. Okay. So when they interviewed the little boy, and he said that he was poked in the butt with a stick, and he said, "What do you mean stick?" And he pointed to his penis. So he knew that the dad was poking him. Well, that's where it came from. So the thing is, instead of that kid getting help, okay, they chose not to say anything. So the boy keeps going back to his dad's and getting molested, when no, because he was basically the real child, the real victim out of all of these kids that came forward was the little 6-year-old who had an alcoholic schizophrenic mom that didn't take him to the doctor. And then when he told the detectives, the two detectives, or not the detectives, but the detective and the prosecuting attorney, what happened to him, they don't do anything. So he doesn't get any help. He doesn't get taken out of the home. It was ridiculous to see this little kid fall through the cracks and keep getting assaulted. The one innocent person, well, one of the innocent people in this whole thing was this kid. Okay. Then they make this letter after all these kids start coming forward, because the woman scared all these parents. So they go to this one lady that's a counselor, but she's not a psychiatrist and she's not a therapist. Okay. The thing is, I've had a couple
Lolita
people.
Lolita Davidovich playing Key. She played Key McFarlane.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if my child had anything weird that I thought was weird, bleeding or, anything, the first thing I would do is take him to the doctor, a physical doctor, to get him an examination. And that's what shocked me, is all these parents, instead of taking their kid to a doctor, the first thing they do is take it to this counselor that gets puppets and brings them out, and they're naked, and they're not even kid naked. They're not like naked children. Okay. They're naked adults with hair and all the things that other little 6-year-olds would not see unless their parents were running around naked in front of them. To me, that was absurd. I couldn't, it just went, I was just shocked by it, because if I found out that anyone had come in front of my kid with a puppet, a naked puppet that had genital hair and shit, I would have freaking got a lawyer. So I'm taking you to court for sexually assaulting my kid.
I'm pretty certain that's ridiculous, because when they bring the kid out and then they say, "We're going to play with these dolls. Look, this one's got a vagina. This one's got a penis." That was where I was like, I fucking can't believe this shit. Like,
I have kids, and I didn't call it a penis. I call it a wee-wee, and I called it a coochie. A coochie was for the girl, because if my daughter came up to me in the store and says, "Mom, my coochie hurts," I wouldn't know what she meant, and I wouldn't be embarrassed about everybody around me thinking that I'm telling my kids or I'm teaching my kids pornographic words for a 6-year-old kid. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a bad parent, but I can tell you right now, that was ridiculous. But I wanted to read, if you don't mind, after all this happened in real life and in the movie, the district attorney's office decided to print out letters, since there was hundreds now. There was hundreds of kids, like 300, 400 kids that had went to this lady, and she's videotaping all these interviews proving that they were molested, because she's using these naked dolls with a grown-up penises and grown-up boobies with nipples and everything, and she's showing them to 6 and 7-year-old kids, some of them 5, because most of them were preschool age. So they used older kids in the movie, but because they didn't want them saying some of the words that they use in some of the suggestive stuff that they were putting these children on the stand to say, right, for the TV movie. But most of it was a preschool. Okay. So these kids were 5 and under, basically 4 or 5-year-old, maybe some 3-year-olds. Okay. And that's why when they were asking them all these questions, they were saying, the rabbit got their ears cut off, and they did this, and they made us drink blood, and, they killed this baby and cut its head open and made us eat the blood from the brain. Remember? This was all some of the stuff that was said. But this is the letter. This is the actual printout. I printed the letter out that they actually sent to all these parents. Okay. And then when this letter comes to your house and you read it, the first thing you're going to think is that your child was assaulted. Okay. Because you're going to think the worst, especially if your kid was playing a video game or hanging out with their friends and they watched a movie and it had zombies in it. And they went to the graveyard and they saw the couple making out. I mean, they're all this stuff is in their head now as a 6-year-old because mom and dad's asking them these questions from this letter. I want to read it. Is it going to get you in trouble if I read some of this stuff? Bruce?
Yeah, Janet?
Is it going to get you in trouble if I read you some of the stuff that I talked about last night in the letter?
Sorry, I had to turn on my mic. Go ahead.
Is this going to get you in trouble if I read from this letter?
No, I
Okay,
thought you heard me the first time, but I had
I'll
to
read
turn
it
my
on
mic
my
back
channel,
on.
but I don't have a problem. I have a problem if it's going to hurt your channel. This is the
No, you're
actual letter. September 8th, 1983. Dear parent, this department is conducting a criminal investigation involving child molestation. Ray Buckley, an employee of Virginia McMartin's preschool, was arrested September 7th, 1983 by this department. The following procedure is obviously an unpleasant one, but to protect the rights of your children as well as the rights of the accused, this inquiry is necessary for complete investigation. Records indicate that your child has been or is currently a student at this preschool. We are asking your assistance in the continuing investigation. Please question your child to see if he or she has been a witness to any crime or if he or she has been a victim. Our investigation indicates that possible criminal acts include. Now, this is what they got to ask their kids. So you're wondering why some of these kids are saying some of the stuff they say up on the stand when they're interviewed. Oral sex, fondling of genitals, buttocks or chest area, and sodomy possibly committed under the pretense of taking the child's temperature. Also, photos may have been taken of children without their clothing. Any information from your child regarding having ever observed Ray Buckley to leave a classroom alone with a child during any nap period, or if they have ever observed Ray Buckley tie up a child is important. Please complete the enclosed information form and return it to this department in the enclosed stamped return envelope as soon as possible. We will contact you if the circumstances dictate the same. We ask you to please keep this investigation strictly confidential because of the nature of the charges of this highly emotional effect it could have on our community. Please do not discuss this investigation with anyone outside your immediate family. Do not contact or discuss the investigation with Raymond Buckley, any member of the accused defendant's family, or employees connected with the McMartin preschool. There is no evidence to indicate that the management of the Virginia McMartin's preschool had any knowledge of this situation, and no detrimental information concerning the operation of this school has been discovered during this investigation. Also, no other employee in the school is under investigation for a criminal act. Okay, they say that at the very end, after they've made the families think that they had to ask these kids, which are 4, 5, and 6 years old, if somebody's ever done anything to them, oral sex.
Isn't that kind of disgusting? I mean, it's just. Is there like a level where like leading questions?
Yeah, that's what this is.
The fact you have to use leading questions like that bitch did. Is there not a level where there's an adult in the room and just slaps the shit out of her? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm telling you right now, if my kid had said, "Mommy, I hurt," or "I'm sore," or "I noticed blood on their clothing," or anything weird like that, because if somebody does something like that to a kid, they're going to have some kind of damage. It's not something that you wouldn't notice, or the kid would just say, "Oh, I'm fine." You know, if they got diarrhea or anything, a parent is going to say, what's the matter? What happened? Did you fall at school? You know, you're going to ask some questions. You're going to notice something. If you have any relationship with your kid, and if they're 4, 5, or 6, I'm sure you're like, you're very hands-on. That's your kid. You bathe them, you brush their teeth, you brush their hair, you wash their clothes, you change your sheets on their bed. I mean, I feel so bad for all these parents that are freaking out thinking that some freaking psycho is performing rituals and like that one kid that said puss, their penis, their puss, and this, that, and the other. And then he said there were people wearing black robes with ropes tied around the waists. And then they went into a church, which was the church and the pastor, and everybody said nobody came to this church. There was no rituals performed here. We have people here all the time, blah, blah, blah. And they couldn't find any evidence. And that's exactly what it said at the bottom of this letter. It said that there was nothing been found. And then they went and looked at the building, the defense attorney, and said, look at the windows. They're wide open. There's no curtains. And it's wide open to the street. And there's no closets. Because remember, some of the kids said they were locked in closets and not allowed to come out and stuff like that. And that some of the stuff happened to them while they were in the closet locked up. You know, I don't know. To me, it was blatant that if anybody did any type of investigation, they would have found out there was nothing. You know, that there's, if the one mother would have taken her kid to the doctor and they had physical proof to prove that the child was molested, then they would have really done an investigation, because a real child psychologist would have been brought in because the child was actually assaulted, right? I mean, to me, this whole thing was ridiculous that this happened simply because nobody did anything to help a real child that was assaulted by his own dad, you know. And it's just the whole thing is disgusting.
They didn't give a shit
I
about
was
that.
crying. I started crying when we were talking about this because it was heartbreaking. This whole thing was heartbreaking. How many hundreds of children were assaulted during this, because that woman assaulted all of them. They were no longer children anymore after they went through this. They didn't think like normal kids anymore because of what happened to them, because of that woman. The interviews that she performed on them, forcing them to, that one kid, out of all those videotapes that the defense attorney watched, and it had that girl going, no, 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 no. The one defiant little girl saying none of that happened to her. And the lady was still telling her, well, then you're the stupid one, because you're the only one out of all those kids. See, she made them say these things. And that woman still has a job.
She
From
still
what
has a
that
job.
said at the end of the movie.
There was no libel lawsuits. Nobody got sued for libel afterwards.
Nothing.
Nobody had any lawsuits of defamation of character afterwards. This family's ruined. There's no way they could go in their community and have a business, because nobody would go there. Oh, you know what they say about them? They fucking defended themselves in court up against one of the most offensive and yet aggressive legal minds in Los Angeles, and they won. But nobody wants to focus on that.
Yeah, it just broke my heart, because in my own family, one of my own family members was groomed and assaulted. Okay, and that should never go under the rug. That shouldn't be pushed away and pretend that it didn't happen. And that child should get recognition for the fact of what happened to them. And then the person who did it, it took years, but this person finally pled guilty because they knew they were going to get fried because there was so much evidence, because the parents listened, people believed and listened, and they gathered the evidence they needed. And then other people came forward that were also groped and grabbed and assaulted by this person, right? And once they did that, because everything was handled right by the police, by the doctors that were involved, and by the DA's office, they listened and they cared, okay? And then other family members stepped up to try to show that, you know, this person needs to be treated the way they deserve to be treated, and it means go to prison. So things went the way they should have, but we were lucky because we actually had all the people involved working for the justice to be done, which is never justice. Once a child is damaged, in any way, you've taken that child's life away. Basically, that child's no longer ever going to be a child. Okay, how do you repay anyone for that? How do you ever get justice for taking a childhood away from someone? There is no justice to me. Even taking that person and putting them in the gallows and they're never seen again, or they're buried out 6 feet under, it still doesn't give back that child their life, right? It doesn't. But it stops that person from assaulting anyone else and doing the same damage to another person. That's all it does. That's all it does. But if we screw up like these people did with hundreds of kids, and the one child that didn't get treated the way they deserved to be treated, all because it became a media circus, And right now, where we are right now in our country with the Smith-Mundt Act, okay, that Obama signed, the media can say and do whatever they want and no repercussions. We can't sue them for lying to us or hyping us up, getting us all, freaking out over something. We can't do anything. We have no recourse. So we live in that now. That's all that crazy stuff we saw from the 80s and early 90s is now real, and the media can do it, and there's nothing we can do about it. So think about that, because that's where we are today in 2024. We have no repercussions against the media, and the media is the virus. Hope that doesn't get you too much trouble. I couldn't help. I had to say it.
Ready to sit at my desk now.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Been trying. Oh, when I got off work, my leg looked like shit, so I had to go hang for a bit.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to wrap your leg?
No.
Okay. No, I just don't understand
that. I'm supposed to compress it. I'm supposed to let it. Try to wear loose socks, loose boots, not constrict it. Let the stuff flow backwards towards my thigh, not like down towards my feet. Kids get older, your body starts going to hell on you. It doesn't take long. One season of eating fast food, delicious.
If you're standing a lot too, standing on your feet doesn't help. But
you would think that.
Think what?
You would think that standing on your feet would be like a great thing because you're active, you're doing stuff, you're a man.
Mm-hmm.
I stand on my feet all fucking day, or I'm sitting in the driver's seat, pressing on the accelerator. All it does is destroy my body more. This is not good. I was surprised at the start of the film, where it shows like, the doll scene in the room, and the lady's searching for a way to, how do I get this kid to say, yeah, they touched me, and then as everything's going on, you realize just what type of media juggernaut, they're going to be found guilty in the court of public opinion. If not a real court, it'll be the court of social justice. So,
but in the court of social justice that we have now, you have, what is it? What is all the social companies that got Parler taken down because they didn't agree with how Parler ran and what people were saying on Parler? It was Google and YouTube and Twitter,
Facebook, all the mainstream companies.
They all took Parler out because they didn't like them. And now we have, because somebody that's a billionaire basically bought Twitter and are reformatting and changing it, they don't like them. They don't like them either. But now that someone big has it, it's not dinky little Parler that doesn't have their own servers or any way of keeping their self up. It's more of a powerhouse now that has it. So, but the thing is, it's still the same people trying to shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
The same people that fed the flames for this whole case, for 6 people to lose everything they had, every single dime, their jobs, their homes, their cars, their savings, their dignity, where they couldn't even walk down the street without people pointing their finger at them and saying, child molesters, with no proof. Just like the same people that are saying the PP dossier is real, okay, when it's proven it's a lies paid for by the Hillary Clinton campaign, okay? So it's proof, it's documented out there. All you got to do is research it, and you're going to find out that was all lies. The whole PP dossier was fake, but it stopped somebody from winning an election because people believed it enough, because the media repeated it. And guess what? You can't sue the media now. So if they were to pick you out of a crowd and say, we don't like you, we don't like what you have to say, and they pick on you and they constantly talk about you every night on the news, and you lose your job, then you lose your house, your kids are taken from you because you can no longer provide for them in a safe environment. So what do you have left? You have nothing, and there's nothing you can do about it, because they have every right to say whatever they want, whenever they want, about anyone they want, because you're nothing to them. You mean nothing to them. And now you have nothing. So what happens? The suicide rate's going through the roof, stuff like that, because you don't mean shit. You're nobody. Just like this family was nobodies. There were nobodies. But this one somebody that was a nobody lawyer, because all he ever did was, defend drug dealers and bikers and lowlifes. That's what he said. And he finally got a case where he realized that justice does mean something. I can help these people. And he helped them prove that they were innocent, because he was a damn good lawyer, but he couldn't give them back all the things they lost. Couldn't give them back their dignity in their homes, or give all those children their innocence back. It's sad, isn't it?
It is.
Think about it. It just breaks my heart. And I was crying, because it was heartbreaking. It's still heartbreaking to think about all those children, because I love kids, and I wish kids, I'm going to get emotional thinking about it right now. All the children that can't be kids anymore because a selfish pig took it upon themselves to take their innocence from them. And then when you have an innocent person that didn't do anything to a kid, they're crucified because of it. Why is that? Why do we live in a world where they put the criminals up on a pedestal and they take the children's innocence away and throw them in the trash like they're nothing? What kind of planet do we live on when that is more important? I don't understand. I just don't understand. I'm just some naive dum-dum that believes that children should have the right to be a kid until they're no longer a kid, because they made a decision to have their first kiss, because they let their lives choose when they're no longer innocent, instead of someone forcing it upon them. I just think that's wrong, and it breaks my heart. Sorry.
Good. I mean, I do want to say that while Janet's off cam for a moment, I don't want to get like a bunch of sympathy clicks, although I would appreciate it if you guys appreciate Janet for all the things that she provides, not just the heartfelt responses where she turns into a blubbering mess. Like,
I'm sorry.
When I see a dog in pain, when I see a dog getting beat, like, that's when I cry. So it's understandable.
I cry for that too. It's sad.
That's the thing. Hopefully sooner, just like Travis J says.
Can you remember the lines that the grandmother said at the end when they were pushing her out on the pier?
On the dock?
Yeah. She said something about that all of this happened, and she said it's terrible about what God let this happen to us. Okay, the granddaughter. And then the grandmother said, it wasn't God. People did this. People have free will. They chose to do this to us because they rather watch television than believe in God. I thought that was a very moving line in the movie. And I just wish more people, even if they don't want to be religious, if they don't want to believe in God, why can't they believe in kids? Believe in humanity, believe in the rights of a person. Everybody says they want freedom. They want to be able to live their lives. I don't care if a guy wants to sit and jack off watching porn, eating Cheetos, or whatever. If he's an adult and he wants to watch porn, he should have every right to do that in the privacy of his home. But when you bring it out,
you're getting picked off and
when you bring it out in the streets and you make other people see you doing it, that's wrong. See, that's when it's wrong. It's when you force it on others. It's wrong. That means your freedoms are now infringing on my freedoms and that person's freedoms. And it shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't have to be forced to live another person's life simply because that's what they want. I want a lot of things. I want to be rich. I want to be, look like Bo Derek, and I want to have lots of things. But I understand that I don't have that. And if I want to be in shape, I have to go to the gym. I have to work out. I have to lift weights. I have to eat different food. I have to do a lot of things if I want certain things in my life. And if I want money, I have to get a job. I have to get paid, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand the mentality of people that say they want one thing, but they don't want it for anyone else. They just want it for just themselves. And I just don't know how we became such a self-centered, selfish country or a world, basically. It's around the world, because this kind of stuff that happens to kids happens around the world. It's not just in our country, even though the United States of America is the #1 country in the world for child trafficking. And it's not just trafficking for sex. They traffic them for slave labor and, to sell to the highest bidder because somebody wants a baby or a child because they can't have children or whatever. It's just, it's heartbreaking to know that I live in a country that allows this kind of shit. It's just not right. It's not right. And, I have 4 sisters, and I thank God every day that I had parents that loved us, that wanted us to be home at night, that disciplined us when we snuck out or did things that we shouldn't, because they cared about us. They cared about whether we grew up one day and became parents of our own, on our own, because we grew up and we got to be kids. I got to do dumbass shit as a kid. I didn't have anyone come and force something upon me before I was ready, before I put myself in a situation where, things can happen. But I was old enough to understand what I was doing. Even though I was dumb and naive, I was old enough to understand when things happened, why they were happening. Like somebody handing me a cigarette the first time I smoked a cigarette. I wasn't 6. You see what I mean? And it's just heartbreaking. And this movie opened my eyes to a lot of things about the way our laws work and the way our judicial system works for some and not for others. Hillary Clinton can bash a whole bunch of phones, even though they were subpoenaed to hand them over, and have her staffers help her bash them and use bleach bit on them, and then have a illegal server in her bathroom that had, Secret Service stuff on it that nobody's supposed to see except for the highest people in the government, and nothing happens to her, and all these people's names that are coming out on this client list. Do you honestly believe anything's going to happen to any of these people? I don't.
You really want to know what I think is going to happen to these people? I think the worst possible situation will happen to them. I have faith it will. I have faith that at some point the long arm of the law will be absent and street justice will rear its ugly, brutal head, and something, oh my God, there's been a beating. And it'll be like that one fucker, the guy that was sitting in his truck with his girlfriend after he bullied the town grocer. And everybody's there. There's 46 witnesses. Nobody saw the shot that went through him. Nobody saw the other shot that went through him. And nobody saw the 13 shots that went through his side of the truck when he was being a dickhead, daring him, you ain't got hair in your ass. And then, I just think shit like that probably happens more often than not. And the thing is, you have stupid shit like this, 10-foot tall aliens that, oh, look, kids, distraction. Don't pay attention to the pederasts. Don't pay attention to the pederasts who run your every fucking second, who rule over your lives, who tell you what to do, what to eat, what size toilet you can flush, how much fucking ATU system, or excuse me, what the specifics of your aerobic tank unit septic system needs to be in your fucking brand new house. It cost you $45,000 extra fucking dollars. You know? No. It's bullshit.
Well, the thing is, Bruce, is that when you and your wife go somewhere, you don't have bodyguards, right? You have to go on your own. You have to go down the street, go shopping, just like the person next door to you and the people down the street. We all have to do it alone. We have to do it by ourselves. Like when I walk in out to my car at night after I went shopping, I got my keys between my fingers so that if somebody tries to grab me, I can stab them in the throat. And I have to look under my car when I walk up to it to make sure that someone's not hiding under there, you know, because they're going to grab me by my ankles and knock me to the ground, punch me out or whatever, steal my car or kill me, take me somewhere and kill me. I don't know what's going to happen to me. But the thing is that I don't have anyone. I'm not Nancy Pelosi. I'm not Bill Clinton. I'm not Hillary Clinton. I'm not all these other people that are making decisions for me and you in our lives.
You're
but
not.
They have bodyguards.
Inviting men over to beat with hammers.
Do what? I'm sorry, I was talking.
I'm like, you're not Nancy Pelosi. Your husband doesn't invite people over to get naked in their underwear and just get beaten with hammers.
No.
And then you're talking about you.
That's the problem, is that they're the ones making the decisions for the rest of us.
Yes.
And we're sitting around letting them, right? All these crooked judges, all these crooked people that are involved in city councils and all this stuff, making all these crappy laws that you can't have a gun to defend yourself in your home, or for me to have a gun in my purse. So if I'm walking to my car and someone's getting assaulted, that I can protect myself. Right? I can't have that, but they have bodyguards with guns, right? It's not fair, and they don't care because I'm poor. I'm nobody. I'm just some dumb bimbo walking down the street. They don't give a shit about me and whether I'm being attacked or if I even have a way of means to protect myself. Okay. Or my child. See, if I'm at home in my house and we're in bed asleep and someone breaks in my house and assaults me or takes my child, I have to wait, call the cops, wait around to see if they can even do anything. Even if they don't do anything, I have nothing. I have no way of doing anything. And then you have this kind of stuff that happens and they don't do anything for these people either. Okay, except for get big on TV and do their bullshit mouths flapping, and they're not doing shit, and they're not trying to fix it. And then we go to court and we can't defend ourselves because we have to have whatever lawyer we can afford because we have nothing, because they've taken everything from us. We have no way to defend ourselves, and we have to take whatever court-appointed lawyer we can get and pray that a jury gives a shit about whether or not there's evidence or not. And thankfully, these people on this jury listened to what came out in court and judged appropriately by the evidence that was put in front of them. Thank God for that. I can say that whoever was on this jury were smart, wonderful American citizens and gave a shit about their brother and sisters that were on trial. Okay. I thank God for that. And I'm going to try to be one of those people when I get picked. If they pick me, they might not pick me for whatever reason because they think I'm too naive or whatever. I don't know, but I hope that I get the chance to do it just so I can have the experience in my own life. And maybe one day, if I'm ever accused of doing something, I'll have a good person that's on my jury, at least the one person to have a hung jury to save me from whatever. And I hope that I'm able to help someone, especially if they're innocent, because I don't want to see an innocent person ever be put to death or put in prison for a crime they didn't commit. And it's sad, the fact that it took 7 years 7 years that this family went through for something they didn't do. And facts prove they didn't do anything. It was the media hype that crucified, and that woman, and the one woman, I blame her for all of it. Now, I do blame a little bit on the district attorney's office, right? Because politics gets involved. It's an election year. Got to have all this hype, make us look good in court. Got to crucify these child molesters, and with no proof. And it wasn't until what, 2 years in, 2.5 years in, 3 years in, when the district attorney's going, well, what evidence do we have? What do we have? Do we have a good chance of winning? They're like, no. What do you mean? He was so far out left field, goofing off, doing whatever, not doing his job, that this big of a case is out there. He doesn't even make sure that one letter that the woman wrote at the very beginning about what happened to her kid, and that defense attorney never even saw it. See, all that stuff's so important that you get, like, look what's going on with January 6th. Okay. Look at all the evidence that our January 6th people didn't get. They didn't get to see all the videos.
If you made a video in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, 2020 or 2021, expect at some point, and our friend Drew, love you, Drew, I really do. I want you to get better, but you're gonna get hauled off, because apparently they want all of you. That'll be the first internment camp. I don't know. I think there's a decided like mindset these people had. They made them guilty before they even got the summons off. Before they even got the papers completely printed for the letters. I think this was completely just, they knew they wanted a hung jury. They wanted it, or not hung jury. They wanted a guilty verdict. And by hook or by crook, they're going to get it. They're going to get it. They demanded this. This was the best.
The thing is, too, at the very beginning, remember, 4 or 5 people said this over and over again in the movie. They said, if a child says it, then it has to be true.
Exactly.
Which is not true. Kids fib all the time. I saw 5 or 6 documentaries, and they had a bunch of little preschool kids, like 4 and under, I think. And they had them in a room. It was like 6 of them. It was like 3 girls and 3 boys, and they had all these toys in there. And then over an hour, 2-hour time span, you saw this one kid that had more and more toys by them and less at the other, because this one kid wanted those toys and didn't want the other kids to have it, so he'd go and take it from them. Mm-hmm. So even at that young of an age, children show dominance over other kids by intimidation or whatever it is, pushing them, shoving them, and just taking something that they want. Because kids are selfish. They're hungry. They go get the food. They go take the cookie. If they want something, they're going to get it, and that's normal. That's a normal child will do that. But when you have siblings, a child slowly learns that, you can't, mommy's not going to let you just take whatever you want from your sibling. You can't push your brother or your sister down, right? But if the parent doesn't intervene, that's how we get bullies. It's cool. They get away with it. What are you trying to show us?
Oh, I'm just celebrating the fact that Steamboat Willie is now public domain. So now we have these wonderful and amazing pieces of art known as memes. Mm-hmm. And Willie's there. I was always willing to be reasonable until I had to be reasonable. And you see he's driving
a tank,
the killdozer.
Oh, a killdozer. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe Disney wouldn't rebuy it or something.
That's one of those things
they knew this was coming up. Why wouldn't they do that? Isn't it Disney's or not? It used to be Disney's.
Disney would do it. You think Disney would get their head out of their ass, but
so do you think that's going to happen with Star Trek after 100 years? That someone's going to actually get to make good stuff?
Janet, I will quit every bad habit just to possibly be able to write Star Trek stories when I'm 91. Because fuck it, I'll do it. I got something else to share.
Okay.
Over the course of the new year, one of
Yeah.
my childhood crushes, Yori, who is also Lori in the Tron world,
Uh-huh.
Sydney Morgan, she passed away on the 30th of December last year.
Oh.
She
Oh, I
was
didn't know she
Lacey
died.
Underall in Caddyshack, for you people that were not nerds. And here's a better picture of her. This is back a couple years in 2012. No, 2013. No.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 2013. She was doing some stuff for Tron for Disney. She was a happy lady. She died at the age of 69 last couple weeks. And that's her again from 2012 when she's got her battle paint straightened out, and has the girls out.
Oh.
We'll miss you,
Well, I
Cindy.
hate to see anyone pass away.
She had some
Sad.
problems.
I know, but still, I don't care what kind of problem someone has. Nobody wants to see anyone that has to die, even when they're old.
She died of natural causes. I don't know what natural causes might be. I mean, it didn't say died suddenly, so I'm pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
But it just.
So, is there anything else that you want to say about this movie?
I just wanted to say that real quick about that, and I'm going to take us off to. Let me share the entire screen again. All right. Off we go. Where are they now?
Oh, these are the real people?
Yep. The first accuser, the twat, Judy Johnson. She went to the Manhattan Beach police and claimed her 2.5-year-old had been sexually abused by Ray Bucky, which led to criminal investigation of McMartin preschool. She made bizarre claims. He flew in the air, and Peggy McMartin Bucky drilled holes in his son's armpits. She later would claim that her dog had been sodomized and her estranged husband molested one of the kids, according to the WAPO. In 1986, before the trial began, she died of fatty metamorphosis of the liver associated with alcoholism, according to New York Times. Following Judy Johnson's initial complaint, they arrested Ray on September 7th, 83. But he was released on the same day due to lack of evidence. Funny, that seems to follow throughout the entire situation. They were charged with his mother, sister, Peggy Ann, and several co-workers charged with a combined 115 counts, later increased to 321, according to NYT. Bucky would spend the next 5 years in jail before being released in 1989 on $1.5 million bail. In 1990, he was acquitted on most of the charges, with the jury deadlocked on another 13 counts, according to the WAPO. He was retried later that year, resulting in a mistrial and all charges being dismissed. And after the trial, he attended law school. He changed his name and relocated to the Northwest, where he lives with his wife and son, according to Uncovered McMartin Family Trials, premiering Saturday, July 27th, 2023, on Oxygen. All right. Virginia, at the age of 49, she opened a preschool, and that was in 1956. So she got really popular within the local community. Following the reports of sexual abuse at the school 3 decades later, she gets arrested, and they were dropped after the DA determined there was insufficient evidence to prove her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, according to LA Times. She and the granddaughter successfully sued the parent of one child for slander. The plaintiffs were only awarded $1 each, according to Los Angeles Times. Mrs. McMartin died in 1995 at 88 after suffering a series of strokes, according to the NYT. Before the arrest, Peggy Martin Bucky, Virginia's daughter, was the main administrator of McMartin Preschool. She was indicted in March 1984 and remained in custody for 2 years. She was then released on almost $300,000 bail, according to WAPO.
Did they get that money back?
Nope.
I wonder why.
In 1990, she was found not guilty. I've gone through hell, now I've lost it all, according to the WAPO. In December 2000, she died at the age of 74. Peggy Ann Bucky. All right, we're so far we're 3 for 3. Peggy Ann Bucky, Ray Bucky's sister, was a high school special ed teacher who helped out at the grandma's preschool. She was among those indicted and arrested in March of 84. And as with her grandmother and 3 co-workers, they were dismissed in 86 for lack of evidence. Afterward, she applied to have her teaching credentials reinstated, but was initially denied. A judge later ruled her in her favor, and so she resumes her teaching career. She does not have a death as of yet. Key McFarlane, played by Lolita.
Can I say something? I thought if you got arrested and then you went up before the judge, and the judge says, okay, you got to come back to court on this day. We're going to post you bail of whatever amount of money. Okay. And you put your car up or whatever for it, right? Well, why wouldn't you get your car back if you had to put your car up for bail? Because if you show up for court, I thought you got your money back.
I don't believe that's how it works. It might. You're talking to somebody who's only been on one side of the.
Well, I've never been arrested, so I don't know. But that's interesting to me, because if you put your house up as your bail so that you could pay for it or whatever, and you say, okay, if I don't show up for my bail or for my trial, you get to keep my house. That's like, $300,000 or whatever your house is worth. And then you do show up, then your house should still be your house. Isn't that what that's supposed to be? But I know they had to sell all their property because
it's now the government's property, I thought.
Well, I'm going to look that up, because if anybody in the chat knows what that means, if you put your house up and let's say I get arrested for DUI or something, right? And we put our house up, and that means my kids don't even have a place to live now because they get to keep the house. They kick your ass out. Where do you live while you're waiting to go to court? If they take your house? I mean, I don't understand that. To me, that doesn't make any sense. So if anybody knows anything about that, I would like to know, because I think that's bullshit.
You lose it if you don't pay your taxes.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm talking about if you put your house up for bail.
There's property taxes, court fees, storage fees, all personal items. You have to pay something, and then you pay 10% of bail for luxury to not having to sit in jail. So the bail is basically revenue.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know it's revenue; they're going to make money. But if you don't have the cash at the time, let's say they say it's $50,000, so you put your house up. Your house is worth $300,000. So what do they do? Sell it and give you the rest of the money?
I don't think they give you that money. That's an offering to the state.
No, I'm talking about if your $50,000 is your bail money, which means they're letting you out, and if you come back to court like you say you will, then you get the money back. You should, because that's what it was for, to get you out early. If that's a fact, if this is true, then I will just sit my ass in jail, because I can't afford to pay bail.
That's
even if it's $50. I'm not even going to give them $50 I'm not going to get my money back. I'll just sit my ass in jail.
That's kind of where I will sit my ass in jail if I'm arrested.
Yeah, so, I'm going to have to too, because I don't have that kind of money. I don't even have $50. So.
Oh, I got paid? No, my bills got paid. I'm now broke again.
Yeah, see, it's ridiculous. I think that's wrong.
So,
I don't think that's true. I want to find out if you put your house up for bail that they can't keep your house. I just don't. That doesn't make any sense.
This lady.
What are you looking up now?
Lolita Davidovich. She's the one who played Keith.
Oh, she was the one who did the puppets.
And then she's also in one of my favorite movies, which they do not have here. This is a Crime. It's the best movie that she's ever been in.
Well, what's it?
Dark Blue.
Oh, and the fact that James Woods got to be married to, what was her name? Nicolette Sheridan.
Yeah, not a bad deal.
Yeah, but I didn't see him do anything. They didn't get to make out and stuff.
Much was not wanting to be involved with that. We'll be watching this movie sometime this year. This is too good of a movie for me.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you will.
I haven't seen Dark Blue. Never heard of it. Sorry.
It's a Kurt Russell movie.
I like Kurt Russell. That's why I can't believe I hadn't seen it. Never heard of it.
So anyway, this lady, the puppet lady, McFarlane's findings and techniques were criticized later on as her relationship with reporter Wayne Satz. That was really classy, who extensively covered the McMartin preschool story for Los Angeles KABC, according to the AP. Following the Bucky's acquittals, McFarlane claimed she was naive and never having been part of a case like this. But she stood by her findings. Her controversial techniques have inspired new protocols in child psychology. Maybe, not having fucking leading questions be your primary weapon in getting the kids to indict somebody who possibly has done something wrong.
Yep.
Astrid Heger, the pediatrician who medically examined and photographed the kids involved in the investigation, Astrid testified she found physical evidence of molestation in 10 of the 13 alleged victims, according to the Los Angeles Times.
Oh, so they did
Yep.
get it physical. Was it after they were interviewed?
Probably after the interviews. This is something that the movie didn't. They only have so much time in a movie to do this stuff.
Yeah.
You bring in a physician and do exams, and there's another 15 minutes, which you don't really have time for. Even though this isn't at a movie house, it's on HBO, and HBO only has 24 hours a day.
Well, the thing is that we didn't talk about was the one child that testified in court, which really happened, where he handed them the pictures of the 5 people with numbers under them. Remember that? And he said, I want you to circle whoever in this thing that you see on these photographs that was involved when they took you to the cemetery and made you dig up bodies. Remember that one kid who said that?
Yeah.
So he circled Chuck Norris. The actor Chuck Norris's picture was on there, and he was named in this case. And that just shows you how ridiculous this was, that this kid just saw this face because he saw him on TV, I'm sure. So he thought he recognized him, and he was making up the fact that they went to the graveyard to dig up bodies. So that was something I thought was just ridiculous, that alone just shows you a kid will say whatever they think they have to say to fit in or to make the parent or the grown-up happy and not angry with them. You know what I mean? And that's sad. So that was
Astrid. What Astrid did is she's a professor of pediatrics at the U of Southern California. She's also the founder, executive director of the Violence Intervention Program, which offers social services to victims of family violence and sexual assault. The photographic method she developed has been successfully used in hundreds of molestation cases.
Yep.
Okay, so the last thing you talk about is kids who testified in McMartin preschool trials maintained they were victims of abuse. Kevin Cody, whose newspaper, The Easy Reader, covered the case, told CBSLA.com he has spoken to multiples of children, and he describes them as happy, well-adjusted people. Another student named Kyle Zerpolo told Los Angeles Times in 2005 that he had fabricated the allegations. He said that as a child, he claimed to have been abused by Ray Bucky, even though he never once met him.
Yeah, remember?
It's an important article to read.
5 or 6 kids said that he did it when he wasn't even at the school.
Yeah.
Okay. But the fact that kids still believe that they were assaulted, that's like I said, it's a imprinted memory, basically. If the kid sees something on TV, or that's why I tell you, you shouldn't let kids watch things that are way over their understanding level, because it can imprint something in them. They'll have nightmares or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They could see a movie like the one with the Crypt Keeper in it, right? And from then on, they have nightmares about the Crypt Keeper, simply because their mind is not old enough to understand that that's not real, that it's just a character on a movie, because their mind is not old enough to understand what's going on. Or they snuck in and they're hiding behind the couch or whatever and watching a movie mom and dad didn't know they were watching, right? So it's, sometimes you can't do anything about it. But the thing is that that's why it's important that they have they can't play video games or watch movies or do certain things when or read pornographic material when they're not old enough to understand what they're being seen. That's why, another reason why, with all this facts that's come out from way back when until now, that it's okay to have a 5-year-old be able to go to the library and check out a book about how to masturbate. Now that, thanks to this administration, parents are having to go to schools and fight to get this crap out of their schools, because this stuff is okay, to have somebody with their genitals showing reading to kids at school. I don't know. All of this is ridiculous. I just cannot believe this is like we are not in the real world, that we're in a big snow globe and someone's shaking it up to see what kind of shit falls all around everyone in it. And we're just standing there mesmerized by it, going, what the hell? Is this reality, or am I drunk? Am I on drugs? I mean, what's going on? Because this can't be real, that stuff's going on in our schools with our kids. And the fact that if they sent a note home and told me that they were going to be teaching this, that, and the other this week at your child's school, my kid wouldn't go to school. I would call my boss, say, my kid's coming with me or I ain't coming to work, because I'd say, fuck you. My kid is not going to your school to be taught that bullshit. That's not going to happen. Where's all those parents? I don't understand it. I mean, you carried a child in your body for 9 months. You gave birth to it. You've been taking care of it, getting up in the middle of the night. You're tired. They have temperatures. They have fevers. They got a tooth coming in. You're taking them to the dentist. You're doing all these things for them. And then you just let somebody do this shit to them at school, and you know about it, and you still take them. It just doesn't make any sense. I just don't belong here. This is not my planet, apparently. If this kind of stuff is just meaningless, it doesn't mean shit. I just don't understand. I'm flabbergasted by the things that are going on in the United States or around the world right now that I'm seeing. I just can't understand it. It just doesn't. It's going in, but it's bouncing around in there because it doesn't have a file to go in. There's no cabinet opening and ready to accept this information because it's not right. It's morally not right. What happened to people giving a shit about kids? It just doesn't. Even if nothing happened to them, the fact that people are saying these things to kids without even the parents being around, it's just, and the parents aren't in uproar over it. I just don't understand. I don't understand it. Somebody tell me what's going on and why it's happening. I would like to have an explanation.
I'd love to be able to give you all the answers, Janet. I would love to, but I'm just a dumbass who plays with water for a living and paints miniatures and tells bad piss fuck jokes. This movie, if you guys are in the chat and you saw it with us, or you remember it well enough where you want to give it a review score, I'd like you to put your review score in the chat because we'll read it out loud. That's something that I feel like these review shows should do. They should ask our chats to, hey, what'd you think of this movie? What'd you think? What was your grade? What'd you think? 89.
This one's going to be really hard for me, Bruce.
Okay.
Harder than any movie we've done. And how many movies have we reviewed?
A lot.
A lot.
We've reviewed over 100 films, I believe.
Okay, we've already done that, and honestly, I was so traumatized after watching this whole thing to believe that it was reality, that it was based on real events. Okay, that I couldn't tell you if there was anything wrong with the editing, or the music, or the acting, or anything. Honestly, I can't even grade this movie. I mean, honestly, I can't give it an honest grade because unless I give it a 10, because I didn't even get to, enough of it went in that I was just an emotional basket case, basically. Anyone that was there knows I got upset watching it. It was very traumatic for me to watch. Not because they did things to the kids, not because it was gruesome in any way. It was emotional. It was an emotional battery, basically, that broke me down because of it. It was too real. It was so realistic. The fact that that kind of shit happened, and this was in the 80s, right? And it's 2024, and the same shit's going on. The same shit with the media is still going on. No one learned anything, that we're still letting the media have this kind of say and control over our lives. I don't even watch TV anymore. I get almost all my information from YouTube, my friends, not just regular anyone on YouTube, and X and Spaces and some of the other apps that I'm able to talk to people on. We share links. We talk about all kinds of things on Telegram. I have, most of it's from my friends, people I've learned over the years that I trust about getting information from. That's where I get my stuff. I don't even watch the news on TV anymore. I don't trust any of them.
There's nothing worth watching on television.
I don't trust
There's no reason. If any of you are still paying for cable and you say something to me like, well, it's for the kids, like, do you love your pocketbook? I'm not saying do you love your kids more, but you can get along without getting cable. If you've got internet services or strictly internet services available, fucking abandon cable. Just send them a message. No.
Don't listen to them.
Because there's no reason for you to be paying. A good chunk of your money goes to ESPN and Disney and other shill bullshit that it's people who hate you are getting your money. So you're better off to get your information and your internet through somebody else. I'm a bad person. I pay Google not just once, but twice a month because I don't want any ads if I have to use a Google service. And two, I have Google Internet. I live right by the hospital. I have fiber. And of all things, the fiber here is cheap. It's really cheap. It's like $100 for 2 gigabytes up and down. So I'm just saying that out of all the evils, like I could go with either Time Warner Spectrum or I could go for Google. I went for Google, and I escaped. So just having a strict internet connection is how I survive. And if I want to watch anything, I find a way to watch it. Yar matey. And you guys have been here for that. A lot of you have been here, and you understand the way I do it the same way a lot of you do it. I'm not saying it's right, but I have a lot of these DVDs in my booklet over here. I just don't have a way to stream it from that DVD to you. Give me another half year. I should be able to get a DVD drive connected to this PC. Or if somebody has a line on DVD drives from bottomdollar.com, that'd be great. Right now, I'm thinking I got other things I got to do. Like I got to pay for my fucking taxes I did last year. All right, none of that, Bruce.
I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know what to tell you about my my rating, because I thought everybody did a great job, because it was very emotional for me. The whole thing was so real.
Janet,
I just
not just are you feeling that way, but everybody here in the chat talking with us tonight, up to 15 people we've had at once, has had the same feeling, because everybody's talking about their own personal experiences with the giant juggernaut they've had to fight. Nobody's talking about the rating of the movie, which the movie was really good, and that's okay, because we've given them some sort of platform to where they can exchange information and they can throw things our way and we can read about it out loud, and I love that. I'm going to give this movie a rating. I'm going to say this movie is a 90 out of 100, because the movie was well done. You had the right people in the right places in the background doing director of photography stuff, making sure the boom mics were properly placed, and they kind of went all out on the sensationalist stuff at first, but they really drove it home when you start reading through the facts of what it was, what happened in LA, what happened, and the rest of it falls into place as you watch the movie, which it's really weird how accurate the movie was. It was fantastic. this movie, it's hard watch. This is in that same league of films as the Iron Claw. Iron Claw is a great movie. It's about a wrestling dynasty that happened in the early 80s, but it's such a hard movie to watch. And that movie's actually less factual than this one, but it's mainly for the fact they omit the fourth brother. You watch that movie once and you're good.
Mhm.
Lady turned us on to this, and I would recommend anybody who wants to watch James Woods be an asshole lawyer that gets like a soft side to him. Fantastic. This movie is fantastic.
And what did we watch it on?
We watched this on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Now it was really weird because like the codex.
it's weird that YouTube would even let this movie be played on their channel.
I don't think it was by choice. I think somebody uploaded
the
it.
reason, can I say why I think that about what I told you about them taking a movie or a video down from my channel?
Mhm.
Okay, well, a couple weeks ago when all the hype was talking about them releasing some of the names off the lists of the client list and the transcripts and stuff from Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, you know, her civil case and all that stuff. I got a video and put it up on my channel, my YouTube channel, about Comet Ping Pong, because the reason I wanted to do it is because it has Hillary Clinton and Podesta and some other people that were involved in the whole Comet Ping Pong stuff that came out years ago, and everybody said was lies. That wasn't true, but it was true. And there's more and more facts coming out every day that they're finally, for whatever reason, the media is finally letting stuff leak out. Okay. And the media has all the control over it. So I put this video out because I want people to be able to watch it, listen to it, dissect it, and research for themselves and come up with their own point of view about whether they want to believe Hillary Clinton or whether they want to believe the facts. Okay. Which is, you're right. You should have the right to believe what you want once you've read the stuff and seen whatever, and you can believe whatever you want. Right. But almost within an hour and a half right there, put it up. I think it was 6 Nation 31 Kings sent me a message that says, hey, they took your video down. And I'm like, what? So I went and looked, and the video's gone. And I checked my email, and I have an email, and they said that they took it down due to cyberbullying. How can that be? If I'm putting something out that's factual information, but it has Hillary and Bill Clinton's names in it and a few others, that's cyberbullying to them. So the people that broke the rules basically about things that they were doing, that's cyberbullying. See, I don't get it. But I took it down. I took it down myself, and I watched their 15-minute video. I had to take this test. It took like 15 minutes to prove that I understood why that was wrong by me putting up not factual information and all this bullshit. Okay, and I took it because they didn't give me any other option. It was either I get a warning. I got warnings because I'm not monetized, and I probably never will be, because that's the kind of stuff I'm going to put up. So I'm going to lose my channel. Hopefully I can get my people from here to follow me to Rumble, where I can actually put this stuff up and say stuff, or on X, because guess what? I put the exact same video that I try to post here on YouTube, and I put it on X, and guess what happened to me on X? Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing. They let me put it up. And I'm going to put it up every week if I want. I can put it up over and over and over again, because I'm actually got a platform that lets me put something on there and lets the people who watch it make a decision whether it's lies or not. If it's lies, they can just say, hey, you're a liar. That's full of shit. Okay, just like they could do on this platform, but they don't even give you the opportunity, because the people that run this platform tell you their God They get to make all the decisions, and you can't put that up there because it's not factual. It's not like I got nipple piercings on there, or me showing you how to pierce your vag or your penis, which is on this platform. I can have my vag and my penis and my boobs and everything else on this platform getting piercings and stuff, but I can't put a video up that talks about Comet Pizza with no nudity at all. It just facts. It just shows you names, dates, and information that you can look up, but I can't have that on here. But I can put my badge on here if I'm piercing it or something. It's pretty disgusting, isn't it? How is that balance? Doesn't make any sense to me. So, but I'm just saying, it doesn't make any sense. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You know, it's just stupid. But I'm on here because my friends are on here. But as soon as I'm able to move, learn how to do some of the things that I've learned finally on here and do it on Rumble, I won't be on this platform anymore because this platform doesn't deserve me. That's how I look at it. But oh well. It's the only platform I have right now to share what I think is factual information, just like what we do every week on this. I can't believe we get away with some of the things that we talk about on here. I really don't, because I think that YouTube would hate us.
Well,
and I know they hate us.
They don't like me at all. But
Well,
I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you that because I'm honest with my rating and I say, you know what? We are not for kids. This is not a channel you should have kids on. So you better steer your fucking kids away. Because I tell you what, if your kids come here, I'm going to talk to them about what Jesus Christ wants for them. I'm going to tell them that they need to be little capitalists and they need to make sure that they lift heavy things, keep their dick intact if they're boys, keep their vag intact if they're girls, and then whenever they can, they need to do their duty. You know, ask me what else I can do for you, and help us bury the Bolsheviks physically and mentally. That's what I will do. And because I'm honest about it, for some odd reason, as of the 8th of January, 2024, I'm fucking here still on YouTube after 15 years or 14 and a half years of pretty much telling this platform communists deserve the fertilizer treatment. They deserve to be fertilized.
It all changes now. It changes once you get that golden ticket. Oh, I got 1,000 subscribers and I finally got the viewing hours I need. Now I can be monetized.
Nothing's changed for me, Janet.
Right? I'm just saying that's what everybody's goal is. And I would love for everyone to get that. I'm just like me. It's going to be longer for me because most of my stuff is 25-second videos because I do shorts. And to get 4,000 hours of view time, you got to have millions of views, you know, on your little tiny shorts that you do. So, you know
what you should do, Janet, and I know you could do it. You know the slingshot ride at the amusement parks?
Yeah.
You need to get a shot of yourself doing the slingshot ride.
Or jumping out of bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping's okay, but
hey, I've got videos on other platforms that are almost 2 million views, but I only have like 600 subscribers over there. So, you know, they're making money. They're making money, but I'm not, which is fine. You know, I've been struggling the last 6-7 months to try to even get 100 followers on TikTok, because that's how close I am to having 10,000, but they don't want me to do it. They keep sending me emails and messages saying, hey, if you pay us this money, we'll help you get more subscribers. We'll help you get more followers. And then I have a little note on there that says you have 20 new subscribers today. And I go look and there's no numbers added to my followers. So it's like, I'm not paying you guys money to get more subscribers. I'm just going to have to just wait. Maybe 5 years from now, I'll get my 100 people I need. You know, that's how I look at it. It's ridiculous. They hound you and they don't want you to, they send you stuff and say, oh, we want you to put more stuff on. They want you to do more of this and more of that. And then you're doing it. I'm putting stuff on all the time. I'm constantly putting videos out. And but they're not enough because they're suppressed or whatever, because they don't like what I do, or they don't like what I stand for, or whatever it is. I don't know for sure, because I don't have anyone that works for YouTube to tell me. But in the same thing with TikTok, you know, TikTok or Instagram, they're all the same. You know, they're all controlling. And then as soon as you make the golden ticket number, then they start saying, hey, we'll help you make your videos. We'll help you this, we'll help you with that. But then they control what you're going to put on. And I don't want that. I want to put on what I want. Isn't that why you started making a channel in the first place? Bruce wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or whatever it is, and you wanted to video it.
Yeah. I want to
And
show
what if they
people how to
say,
play
well, you
the
can no
game.
longer do that because that's a devil worshiping game? You're going to say, fuck you, you know, like you should, because you should be able to play and do what you wanted to do. That's why you started a channel.
I'm not saying be a Satanist, but I'm saying do what you want as long as it's like not harming other people.
Yeah.
You know, and me playing games with clickety clacky math rocks and painting figurines, working on hordes of fucking Urkai. This is the last time I'm doing a unit all at once. I have 80 of them to do, so that's the thing. I'll never do that again. But after I'm done painting up these Urkai, I'll be starting my days with Goth.
Yeah, that one's a nice one.
And then I have to work on Maldrakar because Maldrakar will be coming up in only about a year. And he might take that damn long. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I put videos of my chickens, my baby chickens, me feeding my chickens. I've made videos about me making my crafts, my pictures, my crochet, me playing Pathfinder with everyone, or is that what you call it? Is that Pathfinder that we play? All kinds of things. I just make videos. I don't know. It's just whatever I think about doing. And just goofy ones, me making stupid videos talking about dirty jokes. But everything I have, I try everything I have that I think is inappropriate or adult content. If you get on my channel, guess what? It's 18 and older, even for telling jokes that have the F word in it, stuff like that. Okay, because I do believe in what I say. I'm a grown woman. If I want to show my cleavage, I have every right to. You know, I have no problem with that.
Love it when you do.
But the thing is, I have no problem with it. But I want them to be adults. I don't want a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old boy oogling at my cleavage, because I actually give a shit and I say it and I mean it and I do that, you know. Just like I said, my video is not for children. I say that on all my videos.
Yeah, my channel even labeled like that. I think that's why it's still here.
So I don't know. It's just heartbreaking to me. All of this, you know, this whole thing, it just tears me up because I loved kids and I love animals. I would do the same thing. If I saw someone doing stuff to animals, I would go up and say, what the hell do you think you're doing? You know, I've done that before. I remember one day I was driving on the road and I saw some kids playing in the street and they were doing something. They were all around something. I didn't know what it was. So I stopped my car and I ran up there and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they had a lighter and they were trying to catch a kitten on fire. There was a little yellow tabby cat they had. And I grabbed that kitten from them and I said, I'm taking this. That's horrible. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. And I took the kitten and some lady came running up and said, that's my kid's kitten. And I said, well, if you're going to let them torture it, then they don't deserve a kitten. And I got in the car and drove off. And I kept it. Okay. Even though I'm allergic to cats. But the thing is, if I see it, I'm going to do something about it. And I wish more people would do that. I am sick and tired of going on Instagram, TikTok, any of these apps, YouTube, all these things, seeing videos of people standing there while a kid is getting beat up or an old man is getting beat up or a woman is getting beat up at a playground or at the park or in the street, and people are standing around with their freaking phones videoing it, doing nothing. Those people that are videoing is the one I want to go up and punch in the face. And I guess I'd get arrested for punching them in the face or slapping the shit out of them or taking their phone from them and throwing it on the ground. Something like that. Because that could be them. What if it was them getting beat up? Would they want someone to film it and say, oh, look at this dumb getting beat up? Or would they want someone to stop it? See, that's what, that kind of shit just pisses me off. And I think it's wrong. And I wish people would get some balls and care about someone else, you know, and try and step in, intervene. Stand up for your neighbors, stand up for the kids, stand up for the old people, stand up for anyone that you seeing being abused. Call 911, do something. Don't just stand there and video it and then put it on your platform. You can go through, I've made a video and I posted it, and it was, I had makeup on my face that someone had done for me, and it looked like I had the crap beat out of me. It was bruises, really bad. It looked like I had a swollen lip and a swollen eye. And I posted that picture and I said, if you wake up and you see this in the morning in the mirror, get out. That's what I said. Because I had a sister that was beat by her husband over and over for years, until the day I walked in and he had her by the throat and he had her up on the wall, against the wall, and she's pregnant. She's 1 month away from having a baby. And she's got her feet a foot off the ground, kicking and screaming, and she's clawing at her neck. And I ran up, and there was 2 guys sitting on the couch watching him do that. And I said, what the fuck? You guys help her. And they just shrugged their shoulders. I picked up this giant glass dish that was sitting on the coffee table, and I went up behind him, and I was pregnant at the time too. And I bashed him over the head. And he fell to the ground, grabbed his head, and he reached up, he stood up, he went to hit me. And I said, hit me, motherfucker. That's what I said to him. And he just looked at me and he left. And I got my sister to leave. I got my sister to leave this guy. And finally, she decided to do something about it. But the fact that grown ass men would stand there and let this guy strangle this woman that was about to give birth because of this scumbag, okay, that's what I don't understand. See, but I was fighting back. I don't care, and I was pregnant. I could have gotten hurt. I could have died. I didn't know what this guy was going to do, but I just knew that I wasn't going to let him stand there in front of me and attack someone that was helpless, that couldn't defend themselves. And I had the opportunity to do it, and I did. Man, I bashed him over the head. And guess what? He has never, ever threatened me in any way since then, because I stood up to him. And I've seen this guy a few times since then, but he won't ever do that to me because I won't let him. I'll probably die. That's why I say all the time, I'm going to die on my front porch, because I am not going to back down. I'm not that person. I don't care if they beat the shit out of me. They're going to have to beat me to death, because I am going to fight back until I cannot stand up. I'm that stubborn. I'm that person.
I know you're that stubborn.
So, I'm going to look like shit.
I already know that
over, but I ain't quitting. And I don't think anyone should quit. If you see something happening, you should do something about it. Call the police. Don't let them stand there and film. Do something. Don't be that person. That's all I tell people. Because I'm not going to put up with no shit. Don't do it in front of me. I may be a girl, but I'm not a chicken shit. And I'm not a girl that scratches. Okay, I'm going to kick you in the balls, or I'm going to pull my weapon out on you, buddy. So I hope you're ready. Sorry, these kind of stuff just gets me riled up, and I can't help it. And if you're on Twitter and on Spaces, I'm sure you've heard me. I don't put up with no shit.
This right here, this is not only just for like men who abuse women. This is the bullies. Mm-hmm. Bullies. Fucking bullies are pieces of shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, Jeremy, I want to say something to you about that. Men who abuse elderly people, whether a man or a woman, or abuse other men that are weaker than them, they're pussies too. It's not just men that abuse women. I've seen women abuse men, and a woman that will stand there and punch a guy and slap a guy when he doesn't fight back is not any better than a guy that would do that to a woman. That's how I look at it. And if I go up into a guy and I'm being a bitch to him, yelling in his face, and I punch him and slap him, guess what? I expect to get hit back. If he slaps me back, I deserved it. If I started the fight and I hit him, I'm not saying punch me until my teeth are all knocked out and keep punching me when I'm down. But if you have to slap my ass to get me off of you, then maybe I needed that slap. And I'm not an advocate for abuse, but no one should abuse another person that's weaker than them. I don't care if it's a man or a woman or a child, for God's sake. No, nobody should do that. And if you think that you're going to hit someone or you think you're going to do something to someone, turn around and walk off. Be the better one. Leave. Walk away. There's no reason to do it. But definitely don't pull out your phone and start videotaping someone else doing it and laugh about it. That makes you worse than the person that's actually doing the hitting. You're scum. That's how I see it. And if you don't like me because of it, then don't be my friend. Don't follow me. Don't subscribe to my channels, because this is me. And if you've watched me long enough, you're gonna know this is who I am. This is what I say week after week after week, and almost every day on X. If you listen to me on there,
And
can't
here's
help
the
it.
fun part.
This is
It
who I
gets
am.
even more fun when Janet's drinking wine.
Do what?
She's sober right now, so look out
Yeah.
when she starts drinking wine. You're gonna get hit. She'll get that windmill arm going, and you're gonna get the glass up the head. Anyway,
Sorry.
I appreciate everybody being here tonight. This movie has made a unusual mark upon the girl, a guy in a movie.
Mhm.
This is the first movie where we actually had a non-rating from one of these films.
Sorry.
And I gotta say, it's the most well-deserved rating I've seen. Janet knocked it out of the park with that, and that's just how I feel. I stand behind her on that, and I mean, she's my ride or die. This is my best friend. This is it. So if there's any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Talk to us on Twitter for Janet, Discord for both of us,
Mhm.
and I really appreciate everyone being here.
Please, everyone, if you haven't watched this movie, you really need to watch it, and you'll be so shocked of the similarities that we have right now today with our media. You're going to be shocked. It's shocking how bad our media is, and that it hasn't gotten any better. It's just gotten worse. And this is going to wake you up to what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to trials and things. Not so much the jury, but what happens within a DA's office, the type of things that could be said to each other about how they want to win their case, and then what goes on with the defense. And the smart thing to do is to listen to your lawyers. Do what your lawyer tells you to do. If he tells you to shut the hell up, shut the hell up. Do what they're do. That's why you're paying them. Okay, so I'm just saying, listen to your lawyer. Sorry, Bruce, go ahead.
You're completely within it. You really are, and I have a lot of respect for you. I have a lot of appreciation for you, and I love the fact that you are literally a mama bear for kids, for the innocent. I think we need people like that. We need people that are willing to stand up and be ready to fight and defend for kids. That's just how it works.
Mhm. Yep.
Next week, we actually don't have a movie scheduled for next week. But
Oh, we don't?
No, Janet. If you don't have a movie set up, I have a movie kind of to pair up with what we watched in the first,
Okay.
discussed on the first. I like Philip K. Dick movies. I know that sounds kind of weird.
It's what?
I like Philip K. Dick. He's an author, and he wrote the story "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?"
Okay.
And I want to watch the movie Minority Report because
You wrote that too?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So next week will be Minority Report. I want to do the rest of the month of January with Philip K. Dick stuff, and then
Okay.
after that, I'll turn it over
Well, when is that one I sent you? When is that?
Which one?
The
Which one?
Wind River?
Wind River is set up for 19th of February.
Okay. All right.
Here, the schedule so far is next week is Minority Report. The next two films I haven't picked yet for January because they're Philip K. Dick films. I think one's going to be Screamers, which is a guilty pleasure film of mine. I love that movie.
Is that the one with the head explosion?
No.
Oh,
No,
which
that's
one's that
Scanners.
one?
That's Scanners.
Scanners. Okay, that's right. I was gonna say, damn, that's a good one
should
too.
watch. We should watch Scanners.
It's a good movie.
It is. Well,
It really is.
It's not Philip K. Dick though.
No,
So.
it's all right. We'll stick to your schedule,
Okay.
and we can fit that in. I told you we're never gonna run out of movies.
No, we're not. But
We're gonna be two little old people in a nursing home going, "We're gonna do a review."
Well, you picked Overboard, and then we got
Yeah.
Blast from the Past, the
Yeah, that's a
12th
good
of
one.
February, and then the 19th of February, we're doing Wind River, and then the 26th of February, the 1968 classic for Romeo and Juliet,
That I
Olivia
haven't
Hussey.
seen, and I haven't seen that one.
Ah.
Man, I've been getting some really good new movies that I haven't seen. I'm really
These
surprised.
are older films.
Mhm.
So Blast from the Past is 1995. McMartin Trial is 1995. We're doing the Full Monty on March 4th. The 1997 Full
I love
Monty.
the Full Monty. I'm so excited about that one. There's so many good movies that until we get to when you say, "Hey, we're going to watch it," and I'm like, "Oh, that's a good one." There's so many. I'm really surprised how many good movies there are.
For $2, the Crafting Gamer suggests Rock-a-Doodle-Doo for Cartoon Month. What is
Never heard of
Rock-a-Doodle-Doo?
it. Never heard of it.
We'll have to watch the trailer in the green room, I guess. Take a look at this.
Okay.
But that could definitely work. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yes, we know. We know that.
What are you, gay? Sorry. Sorry.
I have
I'm
that.
sorry, Jeremy. I have to fuck with you like that on the Notebook. It's a good movie. It is a great movie. Rock-a-Doodle-Doo.
There's a bunch of good movies out there. Like I told Bruce, I want to watch Jaws this summer. I want to watch it because that's one of my on the top of my list for really kick-ass movies that made me to where I will never swim to the sandbar anymore. It ruined me.
I don't like swimming anyway.
No, I used to love snorkeling and all that stuff. Because remember when I was first learning all that snorkeling, I did it in Florida because my dad was stationed in Florida in the Air Force, where he taught people how to scuba dive and all that stuff for his jungle survival stuff. So, and I snorkeled old barges and stuff, and I never saw anyone ever get attacked by a shark or anything like that. Now, a couple of people got attacked by barracuda because they're mean. But after seeing that movie, the thought of the darkness when you're looking down, in the water, you can't see it until it comes up and you're out of the water and it's chomping on you.
Yeah.
It just ruined me from that. I've never been able to do it since. I've not been able to swim.
It's all right. I used to swim, and then I thought if something attacks me in the ocean, I'm probably dead. So to prolong my life a little longer, I've decided to start driving on the wrong side of the road, and things have worked out pretty well for the past few years.
Yeah, and remember that one story, I think I told you, I don't remember if we were live or not, but remember I had 4 sisters, right? Mm-hmm. And my dad was jungle survival, and we lived in Florida. And I remember we went on a picnic one day, and there's these giant drainage ditches or whatever you call them, really, really wide. And they had cement on the sides. So, and that was where the runoff of the water. And a lot of times after we had like a storm go through or something, they'd be really full, and the water would be slows down after a certain amount of time where it starts going down. Well, my dad took us out there, and he said he wanted to go. He liked to go snorkeling and look for stuff because he said really cool stuff would flow down from different places depending on where the water went through, and he would find neat stuff, old suitcases, all kinds of weird stuff. And so we went, and I remember we were swimming around, having a great time, me and Sandy for sure. And Dana's, wearing her bathing suit and all, getting all tanned or whatever, my oldest sister. But we were swimming around, and I remember my mom called us and said it was time to eat. So we're all sitting up there eating, and we're in picnic tables, and we're looking across the big giant canal, and on the other bank is all these alligators. They're all just all sprawled out, getting sun. And I remember thinking, and I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, all those alligators are over there. Where were they swimming when we were swimming? He goes, in the water where you guys were swimming. And I went, we could have gotten killed. We could have gotten eaten. He goes, I was in the water. I was making sure that you were safe. That's what he said. And I didn't get back in the water after that, because I've seen enough documentaries to know they grab you, they take you down, and they cram you underneath something, like a log or whatever. Then they start spinning to tear off your limbs. And I couldn't believe my dad let us swim in the water with alligators in the water, so I don't know. That's when I started thinking my dad might be nuts or something. I think it was like maybe 8 years old, something like that. I don't remember, but it was scary. So I didn't swim in those things anymore. If I knew there were gators, I don't swim if there's gators in the water now. So I don't know. Got a crazy dad.
If humans didn't taste like whores, the reptilians would eat us, but that's the problem. Oh God, you're not a virgin.
Yeah, they don't want to eat you. But I don't know what it was, but it was like, we didn't get eaten. I didn't see anyone get attacked, but I didn't see, after that, I remember I didn't really see anybody swimming. I saw a lot of people fishing, but I didn't see any other people but us, the dum-dums. So it was weird. It was eye-opening though experience.
Janet, this is the only time I'm ever this is the only night I'm gonna hear you call yourself a dum-dum, right?
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're a lot of things. Dumb.
Well, I was a kid when that happened, so I grew up since then. But at that time, I was, it did dawn on me though that we could have gotten eaten. So I guess I was pretty smart back then.
Sounds like you had your head on a swivel.
So, yeah, thank goodness. But I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody to hear, because so pay attention to your surroundings.
All right. With all of that, next week, Minority Report. The week after that, probably Screamers. And
who stars in that movie?
Minority Report?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise.
Okay. So I thought.
I know it's a Tom Cruise movie, but
that's all right.
See it again.
He's a good actor. I just don't like him. I like him as an actor.
Yeah.
That's it. So
I like him for his craft. I don't appreciate much else. She's a wise woman. Hell yeah. Everyone be well, treat each other with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Tell people you love how you feel, and leave it when it's all over at the end of the night. You got no regrets. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was putting this vibe up too. I didn't want to say it, but I mean, this is like the vibe that like Sheila exudes. She's like got that, smoking.
I've had people tell me that I look like her, so because she's the one that played Janet, right, in Rocky.
I believe so.
Okay, so I've been Janet a lot when you go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show midnight show. I've done Janet before. What?
Peace, love, and bacon grease, y'all.
Good night.